All right, grand evening, everybody. If you can, please push out those reposts to that bubble in the bottom right. Would appreciate that. Leo, good evening. How are you?
Hey, had a great day today with family and resting and doing some online education.
Yeah, I think I got a lot to do when I get back from this trip. I got quite a few things on my list to scratch off, and that is the definitely the learning process as well. I want to get these courses underway.
Yeah, the longest one is the pairs training with the Chat GBT. That's the longest one.
Yeah, how was have you been able to get any further into the sniper school one?
Yeah, I'm on week 3 now.
Okay, how's that going? How do you like it?
Um, Really simple and really easy. I mean, too easy and really simple. It's so easy to
Do you
follow
think
and
that
and to do.
when it comes to the trading aspect that people make it too complex?
Um, if you can write down notes on exact the buttons that you need to have ready and you set it up before you start, then everything's cake. And then
Gotcha.
it's simple mathematics and statistics. No emotion anymore.
Perfect. It's what we like. Take the emotions out of the trading aspect, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that because hopefully, you know what? Maybe I should get on there tonight and register for that. Hopefully, that discount is still there. Um, Tonight is packing up, flight first thing out in the morning, heading back home. Spend as much time as I can tonight with the family before I got to call it a night and be up early to catch a flight. So,
Are you alone or did the wife come with you?
oh no, I never take the wife anywhere. Why bother?
Yeah.
She has too many kids back home to take care of. Meow.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. I'm just kind of catching up. All right. If you guys could, I'm going to push out some more invites in DMs. So I'm going to get that out. Da, da, da. Where am I here? Push out some more. If everybody can do that same thing, if you haven't reposted, go ahead and repost. I'm going to push out some more of these DMs as well. Get some more folks up in here. Um, we have titled the space with an interesting title this evening. What the fuck is happening at OpenAI? Well, I have heard a little bit about this. It's at the Sam Altman incident where he stepped away and they brought him back, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Now, I'm not fully aware of that entire situation. So let me see.
Yeah, I was reading the Washington Post today and it talked about the firing, and then when he did get hired, they actually got a new board. Some of them were the original, but a lot of them were replaced when they picked him up again.
So they let him go. And then there was a changing of the guard with regard to their board members, and they elected then to bring him back. Is that correct?
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been following this fairly closely because we've been getting into our chat GBT lately. So they bloody fired him on last Friday, so a little over a week ago, just out of the blue. They said there was some issues with his communications, and they were losing confidence in his leadership, which seems bloody crazy because everyone, well, not everyone, but lots of people, he's a well-known name. But then, of course, the firing blew up because all the staff loved him, So I think they said something like 700 of the 770 staff said they were going to quit.
Wow.
And a couple of senior people did actually resign. And then, so that was Friday. So within about 24 hours, the major investors, including Microsoft, put pressure on the board to reconsider, and negotiations began for his return. They had actually, in the meantime, appointed an interim CEO. There was a guy, the ex-CEO of Twitch, Emmett Shear. And then earlier this week, he returned as CEO. But not long after that, the whole board resigned. So they're now reappointing a new board. So it's all very bizarre.
Wow. This is quite the turn of events. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's kind of get to our format. Let's come back to this. Um, let's do a quick recap of the markets and kind of where we sit at with the markets, just to kind of touch base with that. And then let's get into this because I do like this fact of some interesting things when it comes to the leadership of companies, right? Um, all right. So as I pull up my trading view here. All right, we got a total market cap. We have now peaked over this $1.4 trillion now, which is good. It means we're still climbing up slow but surely. We're seeing liquidity come into the market. So that's good overall. As I just do a quick scan, I'm seeing a lot of green down here in the market, which is good. Mostly green. That's beautiful. All right. So we know where's the liquidity coming into the market. Bitcoin dominance is right around 52. Bitcoin is trading 37.8. Ooh, we're getting mighty close to that 38K range. ETH is staying steady right over 2,000. It's at 2083. Litecoin up 1% at $71. Doge is up just under 1%. It's close to that 8 cent range. Cadena now up over to 61 cents now. So a little bit more dominance with Bitcoin. And the 38K range. I'm going to take a look at this. We hit 38 today. Beautiful. We've had some retracement. Obviously, some people must have had sell orders at that wall price, and seeing Bitcoin come back down, but it's really holding tight into this range of 38 and 37.7 range, kind of. So that's beautiful to see that it just still continues to find support in that range. So likely to see more continuation to the upside as we hold that steady accumulation. This is beautiful. Markets are looking really good. This is likely to be some of your guys' last opportunities to be able to accumulate in this range. Now, that's for Bitcoin. ETH being an altcoin, um, you're still going to potentially see some alts that may take a hit as Bitcoin dominance really starts to take off. You'll see liquidity flow into Bitcoin. And as people take profits on Bitcoin, then they will look to go into some of the alts, right? So you're going to see some interesting volatility with alts as Bitcoin dominance really begins to kind of take a foothold in the market. So, before we get back to what's going on with OpenAI, any thoughts on the overall market? I do see XRP also sitting right in that 62-cent range. So we've got some nice accumulation, and Bitcoin showing some prowess here in the market. So this is looking really good for us, I think, overall.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just looking at the Bitcoin chart now, and there's a definite line of resistance at about 38,000. But it's bounced off it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And I had an old trader explained to me one time that whenever it bounces off the resistance, it's like a spring. So each time it bounces, the spring gets tighter and tighter and tighter until it finally goes. Now, unfortunately, it can either go up or down. So that doesn't really help us with our trading. But the more it bounces, the more likely there's going to be a sudden and significant move.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
brave enough to punt which way as yet, but yeah.
I think when it comes down to looking at your volume indicator, right? The amount of volume that's going, you need volume in order to drive price as well. Um, that's one of the things that I will tend to look at when you're looking at price rising and the volume going down. That's usually not a real good sign of strength, right? Because not as many players are in the game to create transactions that have that volume to justify the price action. If that makes any sense to you guys, just my personal reading of the market. But I do like what you were saying, Rob, where if you start kind of knocking on the door of a level enough times, you kind of break through it. If you do break through it, as we have done, we've kind of broke through the 38 K mark. We've actually come back now and we're retesting it as support. And it's looking really good. So it's likely now that if the accumulation in this phase, the capitulation stays, we're likely looking to move up. Which goes that bodes well for the market.
Yeah,
Bring
yeah.
a lot of liquidity.
Another way of looking at it is it's bouncing off that sort of 38K because there's lots of people with sell orders at that stage, at that level. And eventually, if it keeps bouncing, the sellers are going to get exhausted. We're going to run out of people selling, and it will, go for another leg up.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart right now on a daily view. The EMA ribbons, if you guys are following EMA ribbons, look really bullish. The 8 is above the 13, above the 21, above the 34, above the 55, all above the 200, all sloping upwards right now. Those are the EMA ribbons that I use on mine. And it looks like the price during this capitulation, we're seeing the RSI kind of reset, which is good. The RSI meaning resetting is the RSI is coming down. It has not dipped below 50, but the RSI is holding and the price action is holding as well. So that's a good sign as well that we're looking for another push up. That's good. I think when you start looking at the TA charts and things like that for the course, you start to understand what these EMA ribbons start to provide areas of any potential pullback. And if we look at where the 200 EMA ribbon is, it's sitting at around 30K right now. So if we are going to see any kind of a dip, that's probably likely the lowest that you're going to see Bitcoin come down would be that 30K range. All right. So any other insight on that? And then we'll start to move on into some of our other topics, getting back to the open AI debacle that's going on. Leo, Rob, anything that you guys want to throw in for that?
Nothing from me.
A lot of the stuff you just said in the last 5 minutes. That's what I trained on today.
Perfect, right? So maybe I do know a little something about something. That's positive. Now I can feel a little bit better about myself. Let me see if I don't pull a muscle trying to pat myself on the back. All right. Let's get back into this open AI debacle because I think we here at Dogface Labs and Xeno Mining understand the importance of strong leadership. Um, I understand the importance of that in my regular job, as I have seen some inadequate leadership that ruins the experience for some folks, leads them to be, um, what do I want to say? Leery, and eager to jump ship when things do not look stable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because where's the trust?
I agree. It's a huge thing. If employees do not feel like they have somebody who has their back or their best interest in heart or in mind, I don't believe they feel stable at that position, and will look to exit and move on, especially when times get shaky looking and they don't have support of their leadership. Um, I'm kind of going through that a little bit where I'm working. I've been fortunate enough to create some really good relationships with my employees, and there's some that are um, looking for other opportunities now that they know that I will be moving on and out of the leadership position in our particular office. So I think that has a lot to do with um, how a company operates. You know, I know, Rob, you work at a higher level where you're at as well. You have some insight onto that as well?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm almost a one-man band these days. Unfortunately, I did have 9 staff in the early days, but with one thing and another, and COVID, it's only myself and 2 others now. But yeah, I mean, strong leadership makes a huge difference. There's no two ways about it. That's one I think, because I essentially work for myself and have done for about 30 years. That's what I'm enjoying about being part of Dogface and Xeno is having some strong leadership. You know, keeping me honest instead of just relying on myself to be sort of self motivated. So it makes a big difference. Inspires people to be the best they can be. Otherwise, people will just drift along and get away with doing as little as they can, really.
Yep, I agree. Um, Leo, how about any experience with you in that regard?
Yeah, I want to pick up on something that Paul and Mark was talking about on the other space. They were talking about how in the military, um, they were so disciplined and so, let's get it done. Let's get it done now. Let's get it done together. Then all of a sudden in real life, you got the same mentality. And I've been really fortunate to be around people like that because the colonel set up, his advocate program, and then all of his team are just like the colonel. I mean, they're just get things done. They do what they say. And then all of a sudden, Phil got trained by them, and then Phil trains me. So it's like we just get things done. We stay active. We make lists each morning. We get it done as soon as possible. Work hard, play later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't realize how typically busy and I am until I've come and taken a little vacation and really just stepped away from my laptop, and stepped away from things and tried to disengage enough so that I can mentally take a break, because I think that, you know, uh, being at work and having constant go, 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 things to take care of, things to do. I've noticed the time shift, right? The time just seems like it goes by so fast back home. Don't seem to have enough time to get everything done, where here the time has seemed to have slowed down quite a bit, right? It's been a nice mental break to step away from everything. I think something that's much needed on occasion for us, especially some of us that work hard all the time. It's been a difficult, journey to be busy this whole time. Um, So I'm eager to get back and get back to work, but I definitely see how this can play into the mental health aspect of being involved in a business, be basically working 24/7, and having a lot of responsibilities. Right. I think that it's the holidays is a perfect time to kind of really take a step back, and enjoy the connection with family, right? If you have family that you're able to spend time with, to reconnect like that, because I feel like the time otherwise can get away from us way too fast, and before you know it, another year is ticked by, right? um, I believe that that's also another reason why some of us understand the value of what we're building here with Dogface Labs, is to be able to get to the point where we have enough income coming in where there is this time freedom aspect to be able to take our time back and be with our family, and spend time with the things that are important, but still have an income and be able to do the things that we need to do on a daily basis. Um, Rob, Leo, how do you guys feel about that? Have you, with the, I know that you, Rob, I know you guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I know Leo is in the U.S. and has had some time. How do you feel about that, Leo? Do you feel like these holidays are a perfect time to get away from a little bit of the hustle and bustle, reconnect with family, and then come back energized?
Um, I think it's a little different for me because I'm disabled and I have a lot of free time. And when I do stuff with the benefits, all I do is just pretty much socialize to people, and then Phil does the rest. So it's really easy because there's no cost and it makes people happy. So, that
It
part
doesn't
of it, I
feel
just,
like work, does it?
yeah,
That's awesome. Rob, how about you? I know you guys don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but I know you guys do celebrate other holidays. Do you think that that's a good time for this transition to kind of recharge?
Yeah, no, this seems like we don't have any holidays around now. We have one at the end of October, Labor Day, and then nothing till Christmas. And this, yeah, it's a good time because I find from sort of mid-October to mid-December, it just goes crazy, absolutely crazy. 1 minute I got to do my Christmas shopping in October because otherwise I'm running around Christmas Eve. So yeah, I end up working 12-hour days and weekends. So it would be to have a day off, just in the middle of all that craziness would be quite nice just to sort of reset for the push to Christmas.
Beautiful. I do see that we have been joined by Mark up here on the speaker panel. Mark, how are you this evening?
Doing well. Thanks, gentlemen. How's things?
Good, good, good. Hopefully, you have, if you've caught a little bit about what we've been talking about, a little bit with the open AI debacle, and we'll get back to that. But kind of the recharging during some of the holidays. I'm not sure how you feel about some of that, because I know you're in a similar situation where you're able to work from home and be active with the family. So that's something I think some of us aspire to be in a position to be able to do that and have more interaction with family.
Yeah, you're right, bro. I think it's a little bit different for me because I guess essentially I set my own schedule. I guess a lot of the things that people miss out on, like, I don't know, going to school activities and kids sports, and I literally don't miss any of that. Um, so yeah, I'm in a very privileged position. Obviously, worked really hard to get there, but going back to what you were talking about, that's why I came up. It sort of piqued my interest. The conversation was that thing about leadership. Now, I think probably about a year into building this business, I went through a period of just extreme frustration because we just couldn't get the team to do what we wanted them to do. And the style of leadership that I was used to growing up with a father who's a 20-year veteran, and then obviously spending time in the military was just very much like go do your fucking job type mentality, which is within me. Like that's my personal philosophy of how I like to work. But most people aren't like that. So I actually read a book, and I highly recommend this book for anybody who's a leader. Is called Legacy, which is the story of the All Blacks and how the All Blacks became the world's most successful sports team in the history of sport. So they've got the most winning record of any team in all of sport, in serious sport, whether it's American fucking major sports, whether it's international football, whatever, these All Blacks, right? So when you go back in and this guy followed them for about 2 years. And what had happened is that we'd just been on a run in the first time in over 100 years where we were losing games and they couldn't figure it out. So they went in and tried to investigate the ethos to get it back. And these were the points that it came back to. And this is what we implemented, and this is how we've grown to such a strong team of 26 individuals who will pick us and take names. Was the first point is you need to get team buy-in to the plan. That's a massive part of building a team and having a team. So everybody who's moving with the vision has to be moving together. People have to buy into the dream and the plan. So we've done a very good job. Obviously, everyone knows our North Star and knows the direction. And so we've all got that common purpose that we're in behind, because like the All Blacks make millions of dollars. That didn't make them win. It was like, what is this common purpose that's behind us where, yeah, when shit gets hard in the bear market or when the money's not flowing or whatever, we can't be divided and we're just going to keep pushing. So that was our cause. Now, then the second one was like they interviewed all of the players, and what was like super motivational for the players? What is it about being in a team of that level that makes you want to be there? And it was a couple of things. One of them was personal development. So everybody wants to be growing. People don't want to come to a place where they're just going to be stagnant, going through the motions and not growing as a human being, because everybody has that within them. Like, so whether it's leadership, whether it's actually technical skills, these guys, and I think humans in general, and hopefully you'll identify them, like we love to learn. We don't want to be doing repetition shit all day, every day, although we do have to get in the grind, right? It's some grind it out sometimes, but it's that real growth. People thrive. So that's when I was like, okay, rather than being, it's funny, Rich used to call me Kim Jong Fleece, because I would just come in and absolutely fucking dictate shit like a dictator and to get shit done. And it was like necessary, but everything felt forced. The moment we introduced leaders like yourself, Vince, the Cork, guys down there, Aaron, Killer AK, Sam, that's when things really went to the next level, because you guys are all high achievers in your own right. So, what right does a leader, well, like when you lead in that way, it's just not very motivating and inspiring. Sure, you can make people do shit, but you can't build something for the long term. So, as far as leadership, yeah, those are like two. Look, that's the key thing that I think saw us take a shift in this business, where I went through my own personal development to know that I needed to lead in a different way.
I'm glad you brought that up, Fleece, because I think that's an important thing that as we, some of us have like it or not, have worked in capacities where we've been employees. Being a leader is definitely a skill set that is learned and cultivated over time. And I think that what you said is primary, but like a beautiful aspect is that, somebody who that makes a great leader inspires people to want to learn and grow. It's not that force fed, you have to do this, that dictator type style that doesn't really, institute a sense of people wanting to grow and continue to thrive. Yeah, definitely. I think it's being a leader is from a skill set of learning how to be strong, but not uh, man, there's a saying I have. I'm trying to picture. I had uh, how do you a saying up in my office. And essentially it came down to things where there's a way to be strong without being, overbearing, and there's these different qualities that can, you know, you display in order to develop relationships and leadership. And I think that's, one of the things is being a leader is sometimes when you're so used to doing tasks and just being like, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to do it myself because I want it done and I want it done right. It doesn't really empower the people that you work around to learn those skills then.
Big time, bro. Jack Ma says that from he runs Alibaba, right? Jack Ma says that like your expectation as a leader, and I mean I've been running businesses a long time, so I've learned this one as well. It's obviously it's your baby if you're the leader or the founder or whatever, and you always want to have people working at your level. And the reality is they're just not going to. You might get a handful who do, but normally it's not. So the expectation should be that they should be able to do about 80% of your level, and that's acceptable. So, but like that's realistic, for people to be able to do shit at 80% of your level because it's like they don't have the same level of care that you do, and then probably they just don't know as much as you do, right? So, I think that's realistic. But going back to the holiday thing, fuck, I'm in the gym. Someone's put some really shit music. I'll just get away from that music. The other thing with the holidays, I really like what Goggins talks about, right? And without even knowing this, I do apply this in my life. And he calls it mental aid stations. So he relates it to running ultra marathons. If you're clever, if you're smart, if you know what you're doing, and sometimes this is maybe not possible, you can actually take breaks during the day. So like holidays might not even be possible. And I'm talking like just you're having a shit. It's a mental aid station. In the
Mm-hmm.
shower, that's a mental aid station. That's where you can get your little micro. It's almost like a micro recovery, right? Of course, it's not a holiday. It's never going to like fully recharge you at the same level, but at least it allows you to continue to function and operate. Because, yeah, my feeling about this is, I mean, I literally have not had a day in the past 30 months. No exaggeration, where I've not been on the phone on this project, at least for like probably the quietest day might be like 1 or 2 hours. But every day I've had to get engaged in this business. My true feeling and understanding from having built a business is it's just not possible to do it in this initial startup phase if you're just going to like keep the ball tossed up and then let it fall on the ground every time. If you want to do that, it's just way harder. It's fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine if I disappeared for a month, guys. Like how could I expect you to be here and fucking continue to work and build the project? That's just bullshit. I think for people who are in my position to think they can do that, and just to double this back to Sam Altman, because if you go and listen to him, he's the CEO. He was the CEO of Y Combinator, who are the main like VC, give out angel funding and all that shit. And he will even say to you, you can't outsource this initial grind of a startup. People try to do it, it's never worked. You can't outsource this grind, so you have to fucking go through it yourself, and you have to earn it. And that's what I love about Sam Altman. He keeps it real.
Yeah, thank you for tying it back to that because I did want to kind of circle back to that, but I think that's the important thing I wanted to touch on, with leadership, and that, this is you look at the impact, like Rob was saying, that there was basically a real super strong show of support that people said, what, we believe in this guy, and if he's walking, we're walking with him. I think that if that is in case the true statement, that says a lot about the character and the relationship that he's built with all the people around him, because that's a significant number. If, 700 people in that company who he's touched enough, and either through, and I don't know his style, but he's obviously connected enough with those people to share the vision that he has, that they were willing to say, you know what, I'm out of here. If he's gone, I'm gone too.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty amazing. The 90% of the staff, when there's 770 people, he must be a pretty
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
inspirational leader.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a way, and that again, how old is he? Has he been in this, around for a few? I don't know how old he is.
Not sure. I'm looking at a photo of him. He doesn't look that old.
Man, it's pretty impressive to kind of have that type of charisma and such as that. Anyway, we are already about 40 minutes into the space, and I kind of wanted to touch on any other kind of market news that there is out there. Before we do that, I don't know, Mark, if there was anything more that you kind of wanted to touch on with this open AI as we look to kind of discuss some more news in the market at all?
No, man. Just I was having a little search on Sam Altman. He's 38. He's gay. That's a fun fact. He's a venture capitalist guy. So he made a ton of money with social, and then he just became a guy invested in like most of the early social media startups, and then he was one of the, I think he ID'd, because he was at Y Combinator, who, if you're not familiar with those guys, they're like the main VC pathway. You go do an accelerator. We'll be applying for those guys, but yeah, he would have had eyes on all of the newest, freshest businesses coming through. So Airbnb went through there, Dropbox went through there, and he obviously had equity stakes and early on with all these guys. So he knows his shit. I don't believe he is technical. I think he understands obviously the concepts of AI, etc. But he's a Stanford dropout. I don't believe he's like a high level machine learning, data science, AI guy. So yeah, he's from probably why people follow him is, I think, why do you follow a leader? They lead by example. Same in the military, man. Like if you've got, you're a soldier and your platoon commander is like fucking standing right ahead of you and bowling ahead of you, and you're looking over his shoulder. Well, you're not going to bitch out, that's for sure, because your leader's there and he's doing his thing. So I think he's the hardcore leader, and he's probably just a really nice guy as well. Treats people really well with respect, and he's honest. I know that he had no stocks inside OpenAI because they wanted to remove that perception that those guys are there to make just money, purely because they're really dictating the way that AI is going to move for the future for people. So he also removed that side of it. So he's got a high level of like, I'm doing this shit for the right reason. So that's my gut feeling of why people followed him. Yeah, seems like a real good guy.
Well, I find it interesting that you said he was a dropout, right, from college, so he didn't complete his college?
Yeah, much like Bill Gates, and a lot of those guys drop out because they just get in there and they're already building startups, and they realize that university is just a massive handbrake, basically, and they don't need it.
Yeah, I find that interesting. I wonder what his parents were like, because it's interesting, to me that, you see that high level parents that understand money are able then to excuse me, to teach their kids about the money system, right? And I'm wondering, how much of that influence might have come from his parents being uh, entrepreneurial. Excuse me, entrepreneurial.
Well, he is Jewish, so I guess without being too stereotypical, he's I assume. I mean, it's probably pretty good money, right? Yeah, Yeah, the other fun fact about him, I did read this a while back. He's a hardcore prepper, like not a like just dip your toe in the water prepper. Hardcore. Like, he's got the whole kit and caboodle, bunker, all the gear, mask, all the yeah, he's got all that shit.
Interesting. So some of the mentality is, go get them, take the risk, understand your rewards, that there is the competition side of things, not maybe just show up and get a trophy.
Yeah, man. And I don't know, like I don't know what it's like being a gay man. 'Cause I'm not one, but I don't know what that's like growing up in America. Maybe copped a bit of shit about that as well. So he probably has a bit of a thick skin, a bit of resilience. I know people like to tease people over things. So yeah, he'd have to have pretty thick skin at that level to be leading a business that big. But I think the prepper thing I find really interesting. We need to get our shit ready.
Can you guys hear him?
No, he's rocking.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't me and my internet here. All right. Well, I kind of want to get into and touch on some other news articles as we get, time is ticking away here. I know we have talked about Ethereum. Ethereum is holding its 2,000 price point. I think there's some beautiful things that are going to come along with Ethereum. I know we discussed some of the layer ones, layer twos. We haven't really talked about Kronos much. Um, so I wonder if any of you guys are following or invested in Kronos, CRO. If you use the crypto.com app, you definitely would be in having some accessibility to CRO. So I'm curious to see if you guys are following CRO and have had any kind of trading history with it.
Yeah, I definitely have. I got one of the first things I ever did when I got into crypto was get one of those cards. I'm glad I did when I did, because I only had the amount I had to stake was only like a couple of $100, where not long after it's now, to get a decent card it's several thousand.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been riding that way for a while. The card's pretty cool, very sexy. It's actually made of metal, so it's I love using it. Yeah, I've also got a bit sort of staked, a few $100 staked. So it's just one of those ones I don't pay a lot of attention to. Actually, I just leave it ticking over in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Leo, how about you? Do you have a crypto.com account? Use CRO at all?
No, I don't.
Okay. I will say this, I'm reading a news article. Could CRO crypto dominate in 2024? I think that that's a great headline. You look at how crypto is becoming more mainstream. Where do we see crypto.com being seen everywhere as a marketing position? You guys might know. Do we see it on some MMA jerseys?
Yeah, no, that's true. They're pretty high profile. You see them crop up. I think they might sponsor Formula One as well. So they're pretty high profile.
Yeah, and here's the other interesting thing is they have not been mentioned by the SEC, have they?
No, they don't get mentioned a lot now that you mention it. They sort of fly under the radar.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why. What have they done differently that keeps them out of the radar of the SEC? But the interesting news, this news article, could it dominate 2024? CRO's price has surged 66% in the past month. I actually, did quite well with CRO back in the day. I think I was purchasing CRO at around 10, 12 cents. Um, Rode it all the way up and took profits at 80 cents. So along that way, I was taking some profits. That's a pretty nice little, 7, 8x return. Um, I've been accumulating down in this 8 to 10 cent range. I've been accumulating some more because if we even return back to that 80 cent range, again, that's easily another 7, 8x return just on CRO. With all the advertising that it's been making, getting some more eyes on it, users. I think that obviously by doing a little TA, if we do see CRO go above and beyond that, then we're looking at breaking that dollar mark, right? So to go, if you're accumulating right now at anywhere this 10, 12 cent range, if it goes to $1, that's a pretty damn good freaking return in my mind. Your thoughts on that, Rob? Since you've used CRO before in the past, were you able to take profits on it and get some return?
I must admit I didn't, because I had half of it. You've got to keep it staked to maintain the card.
Yeah.
And then I actually had another few $100s staked elsewhere. So I've just like most of my portfolio, I wrote it up and then I wrote
Yep.
it back down.
Oh man, we've seen that. And speaking of this staking thing, I know Leo has had some pains from staking recently as well. And this is always the tough thing, and this is learn a lesson from our mistakes. Never stake your entire bag of your crypto, especially if it's in a locked up contract. Because if it's locked up, if you guys are not familiar with the lockup periods, some of them on crypto.com or 30, 60, 90-day lockup periods, it does affect the interest rate that you're able to get in return. But you won't have access to it during that lockup period. So if all of a sudden there's a spike, you are not able to pull it and take profits. So my recommendation would be is that if you're going to stake what you're willing to leave in that period, but know that if you leave, maybe say you have 10,000 shares of a token and you lock up 8,000 of it for a 30-day period or 60-day period, that you have another 1,000 or 2,000 shares that you're able to take profits on should the price go through some type of appreciation that's unexpected in the market, right? Tough lesson to learn at times. And I've done that a couple times with crypto.com where it's been locked up. So always make sure that you guys know what your lockup periods are, if there is one. Um, Understand the staking aspect of, is it a compounding lockup? Or are you just claiming rewards from that potential as well? It's beautiful if you have one that self compounds, because obviously, as you compounding is that magical thing that allows us to earn more at a quicker pace. That's one thing I do love about Casper, as I have Casper locked up and staked, is that it's compounding. So I don't even have to do anything with claiming it. It auto claims and compounds during each reward cycle. So that's a beautiful thing when it comes to some of these staking platforms. You can really grow your bags, right? So other ones you have to go and claim, and then you would have to then reallocate it back into the contract to continue to draw those rewards. But you never know what the market's going to do. So I do see that we have Kingo that joined us up here. King, I want to go ahead and pass the mic to you, give you the opportunity to share a little bit. The mic is yours.
All right, good. First, I want to say good evening to the room. But on the crypto.com situation, I use that. I like crypto.com. One of the things I noticed about them is that they do their best to try to follow regulations and things from other places. They're getting regulated in a lot of places. They're doing things by the book, and it's causing, like, for me, like a little slower growth while they cover everything first. But with that card, what I noticed about the Crypto.com Visa is that I can hook it up to my phone with the Apple Pay. And
Mm-hmm.
so I use it everywhere. So it's easy for me. Like, I got a cold wallet where I keep most of Bitcoin. And then I use ETH like a transactional currency, and then the altcoins. And I do a centralized exchange so I can see it, but it's a relatively low amount on there. And then I use the DeFi wallets mostly for staking, things like that, and then the cold wallet. But it's easy for me now, even through all of those things, to transfer the money over to the centralized exchange, top up the credit card, and kind of use it. I feel like I'm never out of money anywhere I'm at because I can exchange the cryptos, all kinds, especially on that centralized, put it right on the card, and I can use the
Mm-hmm.
card wherever I am. And I think that's one of the good things about the card. They do a lot of advertisement. They're on our basketball team in Philadelphia on the Sixers. I know they got the Staples Center from the Lakers. And I think it's just quietly for those who don't pay or didn't know a lot about them. But they're definitely moving. And I think shortly it's going to. I did ride it up, I think, to like 93 cents. Transferred some. I use cryptocurrency like currency, so I'm spending it just as much as making and holding it. But again, I got different wallets with different things that allow me to do that. And
Sure.
I think it's a if you look into it a little more, it's a pretty good exchange.
Nice. And guys, too, if you happen to be in Discord and you're not connected to crypto.com, connect with somebody like King or Rob or myself that are already on crypto.com. I believe King they do have like a referral thing, I think, as well, don't they? Do they have like a
Yeah, they
referral?
did have a program. I think you were first on my of the $50 to $75 for each person, and then it breaks down from there. But they do it. Yeah, they do have a referral program.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're able to use somebody's referral link and then figure out, you can make it worthwhile for both of you. But definitely that's free money on the table then, for if you're going to be joining another exchange. I know that it's gotten better for me on the use side as far as being able to make fiat ACH deposits. It's gotten much more streamlined. So that's a beautiful thing. It was always a pain for me to have to go to my bank and transfer money from my bank, and it would take 24, 48 hours for it to show up. Now I can just do a quick ACH deposit on there, and then I can start trading within minutes with it. So that's a beautiful addition, and I know they keep adding some additional cryptos on there. um, I do hold some VChain on there as well. So there's some other things that you're seeing VChain advertised within, I think, the MMA as well. So you're seeing crypto.com, VChain, you're seeing a lot more of these cryptocurrencies being advertised lately. And so I think it's a beautiful thing as I think we're getting nearer and nearer this mass adoption wave that's going to come in. How do you guys feel about that? I'll pass it over to you, King. Actually, what do you think?
I'm sorry, I missed that last part. You say that again?
Yeah, do you think we're getting closer and closer to this mass adoption?
I do. I do. Um, and I think it just a lot of things is just with time. As time go, everything's still growing. But I think slowly but surely, I think we may see a little pump just from Thanksgiving alone and the holidays alone, where I think a lot of people was sharing a lot of things with their family, and a lot of people that is in the space, through this bear and everything like we've been, that's excited to know a little more now, and is trying to. I know I was. I tried to on board as many friends as I can. I got a lot of friends that look to me for some things. Like I really don't like giving out advice, but
Mm-hmm.
I just was trying to give them as much education as I really don't push nothing on nobody. I want you to make your own decision, but any information that I got, I do my best to give. And I think a lot of people was doing that over this holiday little stretch. And I think the next holiday is going to be no different. And the closer you get to the halving, And I just think slowly but surely, people want to start to see that this is kind of the way everything is going. And it's going to be like, you got to get on or get left.
Yeah, I agree. There's probably some with the holidays and it being Black Friday here in America. I do know that TradingView is, what I use to chart. They do have a Black Friday special going on. So if you're going to get some charting software, there's different packages that you can get that allow you to do a number of different levels of technical analysis. So TradingView is definitely one of the ones that I would highly recommend that you use for charting, because you can access it on your computer. I can access the same charts that I have on my computer on the mobile device. Any changes I make gets transferred back to my computer, so I can see if I make any kind of charting adjustments or anything like that. So that's beautiful to see. I have a huge watch list of things I'm tracking, but it allows me to keep an eye on kind of what the market is overall doing, which is beautiful. So you can see which ones are popping off with a quick glance, and then go in and look at them and see how they're trading. Um, so I would definitely highly recommend TradingView for that. I know I've spoken personally about the Delta app, for tracking. There's another app that I would like to do a test run on. It's called Merlin. That's from another actually project that I follow, Coach JV on YouTube. He's all about the education and teaching his community how to be more logical and non-emotional traders in the market, especially because as the FOMO sets in, if you do not have an exit strategy, an idea of where you're wanting to take profits and limit orders set, you could easily get wrecked. As Rob was talking about earlier, I've listened to the wrong people before myself. That whole hodl is the model bullshit. Hodl is not the model. The hodl until you are in profits and then fucking sell and lock in your profits is the model. You cannot go wrong locking in profits. And that is really a kind of a tough thing if you're listening to the market sentiment of YouTubers, crypto Twitter, and all that stuff. If people are talking and FOMOing in, you should have already been in. It's time for you to get the fuck out of the market when they're all rushing in, because that's what the market makers want. They want to suck all the liquidity into the market so they can take their profits and leave you or us retail investors holding the fucking bag. Been there, done it. I know Rob has said he's done it. It is not a good position to be in when you see, thousands of dollars from your portfolio just fucking keep disappearing. Now, I know that because I have held, I will earn many of those back, but at a risk of some of those projects going away. So this will be a very interesting bull run that we have coming up. I hope to, now that I've DCA'd into a lot of the projects that I have faith in, um, I hope to see a huge return from the investments that I've made from that regard, but also from what we've set up here with the Xeno mining aspect of stacking as many sats as we can. Now looking to start paying the community out in January with wrapped Cadena, wrapped Litecoin, wrapped Doge, and wrapped BTC, so that we can take full advantage. One of the things that we have discussed is, this consolidation down to wrapped Bitcoin is great, but it isn't always going to allow you to take full price appreciation of an altcoin move. So we definitely want to put the power in the hands of the community to be able to take full advantage of that, because we want you guys to be able to pull as much profits as you can from these altcoin price appreciation as well. So I know that that's something that's working on, and we're excited to be able to bring to the community. Any thoughts on that, Rob?
Yeah, just I can't stress enough. It's the biggest. I've been in crypto for 4 years, and it's the biggest lesson I've learned, and it's the first lesson I share with people is take profits. just take profits. It's not going to go up forever. It's cyclical. Seems to work on a 4-year cycle. It'll come back. So take those profits.
All right, Leo. I know this is kind of actually, I'm kind of curious, Leo, kind of put you on the spot there a little bit, but I'm kind of curious because this is going to be your first full actual bull run. Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
So, being as a newer person to trading and as such, um, actually, you know what? I think you've had some pretty positive experiences being part of the community. Would you like to share a little bit about that and what being part of our investment community has been like for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've always failed at is paper hands and emotion. And I've always heard, plenty of times in the last year or and a half, the idea that number one, um, never trade that you can't lose. And number two, take profits when so it happens to double, take your deposit out and let the rest ride. And I've never done that. And greed takes over. And since you guys, it's like one, if I do something, it's not that I'm going in the crowd, but I just trust you guys because you're more skilled. And I believe in you guys. And you've proven that and how success you are. So trust is a big thing. And I've just been more successful.
Yeah. I know I've heard from you, Rob. Yeah. Go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say, geez, you're putting the pressure on us, Leo. No, it's at least we've learnt the hard way. We've been there, done that. This is our second bull run. So there's no. They say to succeed in crypto, you've got to do one full 4-year cycle. The most successful guys were guys that got in sort of 2017, 2018. So they've been there, done that. But I was trying to think of the saying about taking profits, and it's don't marry your bags. It's quite good, don't. And I'm guilty of that. You buy a token, you love it, you love the community, but don't marry your bags. It's just take the emotion out of it. Once you're in profit, maybe sell half, let the other half ride, but you're only you're only making money when you sell. It's no good just numbers on a spreadsheet mean nothing.
Yeah. Don't trade it or don't date it. Just trade it.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Does he, on this topic, man, and I think maybe this is kind of timely. Does anybody in the audience have like an experience that they would like to share? Please raise your hand about this. Being in the market as long as some of you have, I actually got stuck when I came into crypto on the downside of, I think it was 21 after Bitcoin had kind of gone through it's hitting at 69K. I was still new to crypto, so I got stuck in the backside, downslide of the market and not really understanding how to protect my capital. Have now been sitting on some bags for quite a long time, and it's a tough pill to swallow. How about you, King? Any experience in that regard? How long have you been in crypto, and have you experienced that same scenario that we've been talking about with kind of watching your bags, go away, or have you been in the market long enough that you were able to protect yourself against that?
No, I've been in, I want to say, since like the end of 2000. I watched bags grow and go, like most people. What I would say is right now, like before the bull even start, I think this is a good time for people to start getting strategies together, and coming up with ways on how you think you might want to do, and set some goals. Because I want to say almost like 2 years ago this week, I think that's when crypto.com was up to like almost $1. And I was heavily invested in a lot of things. And I don't know. For some reason, it's just it give you that feel like, all right, this is the one, right? This is. I'm sitting here, we going to the top, and wasn't prepared. Took some gains, but not with nothing that I could have. Didn't know a lot about time in it and things like that. Didn't know a lot about the charts, but I got a little bit
Mm-hmm.
better with. But I definitely think that people should come up with, start getting their strategies together now before it happens. Because once it happens, you know how that ride goes.
Yeah, the emotions can set in too quickly and cloud the judgment. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I will say that that is one of the things that I took the profits from my crypto.com, and I ended up rolling them over into a couple more cryptos and then watched that just dwindle away. I think that's the tough part is developing, especially being new, is developing the strategy of if you're going to take profit, where are you going to put those profits, right? And then we've talked about this before. Where are you going to put those profits where they can continue to grow? Um, and that cannot always be an easy answer, you know. Um, I will say this is that you cannot go wrong if you took profits. If you purchased Xenos, then you would have access to mining revenue that would continue to come in and continue to build bags, right? So that is an option, and a very wise one at that, because your money, if you pull money into cash and you put it in the bank, what is it doing for you? Zero, right? You might get a half, right? Where are you going to put it where it can continue to grow? I think crypto mining is a very good choice, because look at the revenue that you can continue to make for that. And it's ongoing at that point, right? It's continuous. So there's definitely some good things. And I think that that's where the TA comes in, knowing like if you're going to take profits on one token, don't put it into one that's already had a run up. You're not likely to have as many gains, or you'll have the potential losses, right? You chase green candles, you get red dildos, so they say. Don't go chasing. Let the market come to you. It's a very, very tough thing, but you got to take a step back and let the market come to you, and you dictate what that is. So, um, anywho, that's where I stand with that. I don't see any hands that have raised up that would like to come up and share any stories about that, but um, uh, at this point, guys, we've been going just over an hour this evening. I know for me personally, I do need to start packing to head to the airport early in the morning, catch an early flight. I'm hope that everybody had a happy Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Appreciate you guys. But I would like to look to wrap up this space, unless there's anything else anybody up here in the speaker panel would like to touch on, and kind of wrap it up this evening. Anything from anybody? Looks like Paulie jumped in a listener. Paulie, welcome. Mark, I do see you down there. If there's anything else you guys want to add on to the discussion this evening, happy to have you up real quick. Otherwise, I'm going to look to wrap up the space, let people get to their evenings. I know it's Friday for some, Saturday. Oh, Rob, for you guys, it's what, Saturday early afternoon? Is that right?
4 p.m.
Sounds like beer o'clock to me.
Getting close. I've got to. I ignored my chores to come in and do this, so I've got to go out for another hour, maybe. So I've got to earn that beer.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I got to go out and earn the beer, right? Well,
Can we leave?
awesome.
Can we leave just a little sense of humor?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the title of the article was Sam was fired. Sam was hired. The winner, the capitalist, and we have our own Sam, the capitalist.
Beautiful. And love a little bit of humor. If we can't laugh at ourselves, on a little bit of that, I don't know if anybody in here, this is off topic, has watched the show Ted Lasso. Has anybody watched that show on Apple TV?
Yeah,
Anybody?
me.
Yeah, I had my parents sharing that show with my parents, and absolutely a brilliant show. If you like a little bit of sports, some slap humor mixed in with some serious life lessons, I guess I should say. Really a well done show. It's interesting to see it all over again. So if you have not watched it, man, I really do encourage you to watch it, especially if you are a soccer fan, or as they say elsewhere in the world, football fan. It's definitely a great one to watch if you have not watched it. So yeah, Polly, I know, 100%, right? All right, guys. Thank you, the community, for popping in here. Um, we are going to have a lot more discussions when it comes to where we're sitting at in the market, where we're looking for some price points and targets to be. So if you're inside of our Discord, I know we're definitely going to have some dialogue about that, especially even on some of these Twitter spaces, as we do look to educate as many folks as to some possibilities. Again, everybody's got their own situation. Your entries where you came into the market are going to be your own. That's why I say it's very important for you to track your entries so you know where you're at, because um, we are all in different places in our investment thesis and portfolio. So take what we say with a grain of salt and look to apply it to your own situation. And again, we're not financial advisors. We don't give financial advice. This is for purely entertainment purposes only. But I do like to share some of the things that we have gone through, because if you can learn from our mistakes, that means that we're able to empower you a little bit more so that you don't go through those same pain points that we have. I think as us being leaders for our community, that's the least that we can do, is to empower our community to be a smarter, intelligent investor at the end of the day. So hopefully to pass that baton on to you guys. All right. Otherwise, I'm going to look to wrap things up. Anything from you, King, Rob, or Leo, and we'll go ahead and let everybody have their Friday night, their Saturday afternoons back.
No, I just say good night to everybody, and safe travels to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. If you are not part of the community and are listening to this later, and you would love to be part of the Dogface Lab Xeno community, please click on the Xeno PFP, hop into Discord, come check us out, what we're doing with mining proof of work rewards for our community. I think you'll love what you see by looking at our white paper. Come in, ask the tough questions. We do not shy away from them, from a fully doxed and audited team. So if you are listening to this later, we welcome you to our community. Come in and we will see you inside Discord. Otherwise, thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful, safe evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince, and we'll catch you all later.